All right, our next up is Taya Matthews. So Taya, go ahead and take it away.
Hello. Welcome all of you that are listening. Hopefully I have something to offer you and maybe you can learn or take even a chunk of something that I present and make it work for you since we all have different subjects and grade levels. Let's begin. So the first thing I put there is I hate to admit this, but I learned something from PD. I know a lot of times we don't feel like the PD that we have is like valuable, right? But I did a PD at some point earlier this fall, and one of the things that they talked about, which is something that I already did and most of us do, just using the terminology climate, habit, and direct instruction, is very important. And so this is going to be kind of repetitive, but I think that it nails down some key components. So it's very important to create a climate where students feel safe and comfortable, where they can, learn and ask questions. I do teach high school, so obviously at each grade level, you're going to have a different emotional issue that the students are going to be dealing with as they're growing and changing and all of that fun stuff. I deal with mostly freshmen. Once that climate is set and students know that they are comfortable with what you're doing, then you can focus on developing the clear classroom habits. Then there's no surprises. The kids know, hey, it's safe here. This is what we're doing. I know what's expected of me, and I know what I'm going to get in return. So those procedures, you have to have those two things first before you can move on and teach content. And this was mentioned earlier today as well. But once you have that, then you are able to attain the development that you're wanting. Because if kids aren't in it, they're not going to be able to do any learning at all. So direct instruction isn't something that I can really comment on as it relates like individually to us in our subjects, but at least we can talk about climate and habit. Let's go ahead. Next slide, please. So climate. One of the things that I try to do in my class, especially for high schoolers, is be relatable no matter what. So be who you are. I am silly and quirky by nature, so I do what works for me. You could do what works for you. So I put messy hair, don't care. I have this hat that says teacher hair, don't care. No makeup, be presentable, but not perfect, and that's okay. Especially during distance learning. I'm not trying to pretend that we're all getting up and ready. I mean, half of our students are laying in bed, right? So I think just showing them, when I try to have them turn on their cameras or talk, I'll get all kind of excuses. And so to show them, look, I don't have makeup on. It's fine. You look great. I'm sure you're wonderful. Or my hair is a hot mess today too. Look, messy bun, whatever. So showing the students that we're real humans too. We're struggling and just day by day, all of this distance learning as well. I think just kind of helps them realize like, okay, we're all in this. And we don't have to be perfect, and that's okay. So the class is safe, it's comfortable, no bullying. They know for my content, I teach health and science, but for mostly health, when we talk about some really deep content, I want them to be able to share experiences because we learn from each other. So they have to know like that this is a place where they can do that. Go ahead, next slide. Here's just a couple of examples. Again, I don't pretend to be hip. As we know, things come and go that are popular. I literally ask, okay, so what's new, hip, and trendy right now? What's going on? And I try to get the class involved in what I'm doing. So as far as backdrops, I change them often. The kids, okay, put in the chat, tell me what kind of background you want me to put in there. And so they kind of feel like they have ownership on that, and they like to comment on the things that I put up there. So they do like that. I have an image of a text message, so I messaged my TA. I was like, help, I need to know, what some famous people are, or celebrities what are people interested in, because I don't know. It is funny that, Grey's Anatomy's on there. We've already seen that, the reruns are coming back. For Halloween, we had a site Halloween dress up contest. And so I asked the students, because the students were voting on Instagram. So it was a social media thing. It's like, I don't know. What'd you guys vote on? What should I be? And they said a character from Among Us. I had no clue what that was. And the students thought that was hilarious. I didn't know, but I did it. I said, okay, if I do this, you're going to have to log on Instagram and vote for me. So again, they kind of had ownership in that. It was real life stuff. And the students really enjoyed it, and they were proud that I got second place. And that was really fun. Go ahead, next slide. So as far as habit, it's like your procedures, right? Like becoming confident and familiar with what's expected. So cameras, having my camera on reminds the students that I'm present, that I'm real. What matters the most is that the students are logged in, that they hear me and they see me. So even if maybe their cameras are off or they're disengaged, they're multitasking, we don't know what is going on the other side of the screen. It's important that they can hear me and see me. So even if I'm having a bad day, like I mentioned, I didn't sleep well, whatever, my camera's on, and the students know what's going on, and they know that they can trust and rely on the fact that I'm there. I do daily journals and class tickets that I use for attendance purposes. A lot of times those have an SEL background, and we'll talk more about that coming up. Chat participation, my TAs help me evaluate that and keep like a log for participation points. And I try to, in the chat, with emojis and different things, to try to keep them engaged, and so that I can see who's participating and who's not. Next slide, please. Okay, so late work. I think students are feeling a little overwhelmed with their work, and just having the motivation to do their work is what I hear a lot of. So I do accept late work. And the screenshot just kind of shows that in Schoology, I make it very clear, these assignments are locking at this time, at which point, they're clearly late, but you won't be able to come back to them. So I try to communicate specifically what is going to be due and when, and then after that, when is the last time that I will take that information from them. At the end of the semester, last semester, everyone got a grade boost. I took into consideration I do have freshmen, so and I teach things that don't build on themselves, but I think that it's important that they know, okay, I know I've messed up, but where can I get a little bit of grace? So I provide that, but they also need to be held accountable, so there is a cutoff for that as well. Go ahead, next slide. All right. Assignment ideas. So take every opportunity to get students talking about themselves. They love to talk about what they're doing, and then opportunities no matter what your subject. So I'll talk to them at the beginning of every class, how was your weekend? What did you guys do? And I try to just get a conversation, I talk about what I did, even if it's yard work or dishes, I have a student profile sheet that I have them fill out at the beginning of the semester. So it's about themselves. It helps me with IEP 504 information, other specific needs, non-distance learning. I use it for, seating chart information, that kind of stuff. Schoology discussions, I'll put pictures up of different things that show a person doing something, and I'll ask them, okay, what emotion does this show? How does this make you feel? Different, content starters for that picture. Same thing for Schoology test quizzes, class tickets for social emotional check-in. I do get better responses if it's something where they know it's going to be private. So instead of a discussion post where everyone might be able to see it, you might ask them to do a short answer response in a Schoology quiz, checking in on how they're doing on a, at least once a week. And then I know who I need to reach out to a little bit more or keep an eye on if I can. Next slide. These are a couple assignments that I came up with. So I tried this actually just this semester when we came back after winter break. I had new students for my health class, and I had them create a video of themselves. Since they don't all turn on their cameras, I wanted to at least see them and hear them. So they made a video Cami assignment, and it was also good for my social emotional well-being. It made me smile. I was happy to see them, and when they answered their questions, I could relate to them. They liked Harry Potter, they liked Star Wars. I'm like, yes, I love all those things. Most students appeared to enjoy making the video. Some were, babbling and not really knowing what to say or embarrassed. But it was really fun, and Cami is a tool that all of us have access to, so they can just respond right there, make a video, submit it on Schoology, and it was really helpful. I think I'll do more videos moving forward. That way I can at least feel like there's a connection between myself and the student since our cameras are not on. I know elementary cameras are on more, high school not so much. Next slide, please. Okay, so social emotional check-ins. I know a lot of us are doing this, but you know, picking a celebrity that kids love and kind of showing that person in different emotional states, asking them to tell you which one relates to them, how is that person feeling in the picture, and how are you feeling, and maybe why. And then based on their response, getting kind of making a list of students you might need to check in on. Also within the chat, there are emojis. So oftentimes I will ask the students, okay, put an emoji in that represents how you're feeling. Depending on what I get, that also kind of tells me, hey, I might need to check in on this student. Another thing I'll ask them to do, and sometimes this might be in the chat, most of the time this is in like a private setting, whether it's a quiz assessment in Schoology, but I'll tell them to pick a color that represents the mood and tell me why. So some students will say, you know, they'll pick blue and they'll say because they're feeling sad or depressed, and they'll explain it, or maybe that's all they say. And some students will say blue because they feel calm. So colors kind of do evoke some emotions for us. And I found that it's just another, so it's not always the same. It's just another way to check in. 1 through 4 SEL check again is, you know, 4, you're doing great. You're paying attention in class. You're totally with it. 1, you just can't focus. Maybe you're not doing so great. And so they'll just give me a number. That also works. Short responses in ed puzzles or Nearpods. I've shown videos, again, kind of with the same concept of showing a picture. So here's a video. How does it make you feel? What do you see? Kind of a thing. And then the other thing on the slide, the chart is daily health inventory. It's something that they do every day through the semester. We change it up every month, and they rank themselves. So feelings, you know, what are you feeling today? Are you very happy or sad? They rank themselves. The next one is rest and sleep. You know, did you get enough rest? Did you not get enough rest? Nutrition, did you eat well? And then exercise, were you able to exercise? Then they average their totals. And it kind of helps because when they turn it in, you can see like a pattern, and you'll be able to tell sometimes, you know, were they sick? Did somebody pass away? You can kind of see when there's a dip in their overall feelings. Go ahead, next slide. All right, it's Danette Showstack's turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Taya. I appreciate it. It was a great presentation. I'm glad to hear that you learned something from PD, and I really liked your Among Us costume. My friends and I have a running Among Us date once a month where we, you know, hunt each other, and the whole point is somebody's a murderer and you don't know who, and it makes for a lot of fun. So I really appreciated that costume, and I appreciated you sharing your assignments.